You know, being stuck in the mushy middle of any league is obviously usually not good. Typically, you do have to tank out for top talent. Now, there are some situations where you can win the cup without tanking out all the time. I think the St. Louis Blues, they happened to win the Stanley Cup, and they didn't really have many like super like high, draft picks. But typically, to get top end talent, you need to draft high usually. And I understand there are the Mikko Rantanens and, David Pasternak's. Rantanen was, 11th overall, and Pasternak was late first round. But that's what you need to do. And being stuck in the mushy middle just kind of means you're going to be an average team. That's why I've been leaning towards the Vancouver Canucks possibly starting a rebuild of some kind. And now we have some really interesting news and information surrounding that, but welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you could make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated, and thank you so much to those that are already supporting me as well. It is very humbling. Now, what we're going to be talking about today, the core of the video, is the quote, in a new article, according to several sources, the Vancouver Canucks have let it be known that in an effort to get younger, they are willing to listen to offers on veteran players, close quote. Okay, here's the thing. I have a little bit of an issue with this if it's not a real rebuild, okay? If you're just looking to kind of retool and get younger, it might not be a bad idea, but they need more elite level talent on their roster. Now, to be fair, there are some players that I think that you can kind of keep around. I actually don't think that they should trade Pettersson. He's a center. I think he's been doing a bit better lately. We've already know that Quinn Hughes has said that he does not want to be a part of a rebuild, so you kind of have to move him. Like, it's kind of weird because they're teetering on being like, okay, we want to kind of retool to get younger, but we know Quinn Hughes doesn't want to be part of a rebuild. So it's just kind of an awkward conversation that needs to be had at this point when it comes to Quinn Hughes. And this is where the other quote gets more interesting. The quote is, "The obvious question is, does this mean Quinn Hughes? I'm told the answer is no at this time." The quote continues, "They've made it clear trading him is not their priority right now," one executive said. "Phil Hronek is another player the team feels is unlikely to go anywhere," close quote. I think that this is silly, in my opinion. I understand that Frege and Elliot Friedman, the insider, is saying this, but I think that you need to sit this guy down and have a conversation. When a lot of people talk about rebuilds, they think that rebuilds are going to take really long. You just need to hit on a couple of picks and hold on to those players. So, man, like I always said, if you just hit on 2 or 3 or 4 picks over a couple of drafts, which sounds hard, but it happens a lot, you can completely rebuild your organization. The Vancouver Canucks need to be challenging for a Stanley Cup, not being in the mushy middle. I mean, that's what every team should be doing, but it's kind of weird that some teams seem to be resigned to not necessarily, trying to be a Stanley Cup contender. Now, the first thing that I want to draw your attention to is where Vancouver is in the standings. They are 9-12-2, a .435 winning percentage. I mean, that's pretty bad. They're just above the Calgary Flames. They're in solidly 30th spot. They have the same winning percentage as the St. Louis Blues and a little bit less than the Toronto Maple Leafs. At this point, in my opinion, I would embrace the tank. I think they need to completely embrace it. They have, again, let's look at their draft picks. They have their first round pick this year, second round pick. They have picks available. They already have Braden Coots. And can you imagine if they get in the top 5, which is completely possible, of this next draft? And look at that. When you go to the Tankathon Simulator 2026, I pressed it one time, and Gavin McKenna, going first overall, left wing at Penn State, he can't play center as well, is going to be going to the Vancouver Canucks first overall. I don't know about you guys, man. There's so many just great players available. Veerhoff, you have Ivor Steenberg, you have McKenna. I mean, these players are core elite players for the Vancouver Canucks. What's the point in throwing away this draft pick for a mediocre season? You could be bad for this season and maybe the next, and then get more draft picks, trade veteran players, and you could be right back on track to being and having a core that is a Stanley Cup contender. Now, I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys genuinely think the Canucks should rebuild like me? Do you think they should keep on going for it? Do you think that there's something here that I'm not seeing? I mean, again, I can't imagine why anybody would look at this team and not think that they need some kind of rebuild. My lord, that first round pick this year is going to be so valuable. And here we have another really interesting quote from Gary Mason on X. When the trading of Quinn Hughes happens, and right now it seems inevitable, it will mark the lowest point in franchise history. Giving up a generational talent in his prime can't be viewed in any other way, close quote. So that's actually true. I agree with him here. Now, I want to be clear with what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say, hey, get rid of Quinn Hughes. He's garbage. He's a great defenseman. I just don't see any other path out of this. Gain assets, keep your picks, rebuild, swing for the fences on draft picks, get elite players into the organization. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Look at Leo Carlson. Look at how great that guy is for Anaheim. Look at Macklin Celebrini. These guys are unfriggin' believable. And now the Vancouver Canucks are only a couple of years away from potentially having an unbelievable player in their organization, guys. It doesn't take that long. Veerhoff is available, right? You got Ivor Steenberg, who is just an unbelievable talent, a winger. In the top five, you have Gavin McKenna. We all believe he's going to be that good, so why not go for that player and just tank it out? I understand that draft picks aren't guaranteed and draft position isn't guaranteed either, but I don't know, man. I just think that the Canucks just got to do what they got to do here. Obviously, it is a really difficult organizational decision. Nobody wants to make it. Nobody wants to trade Quinn Hughes. It's not a good thing, but it's a ripping off a Band-Aid that needs to happen, and the Vancouver Canucks need to get this done quickly. And another important thing is when you trade him, which will happen, Gary Mason is right, you need to get a lot for him, right? If you win on this trade and get a couple of good draft picks and pieces, that speeds up your rebuild. It speeds up your rebuild by, a couple of months, 6 months, or a year, right? You just have to hit on some players, and the Vancouver Canucks need to hit on some players, right? They're kind of like the Calgary Flames. They need to get some serious players. They need to make some good trades to get the organization not necessarily back on track right away, but just generally feeling better. Either way, if the management makes good decisions for the Vancouver Canucks, I see this team, again, being a cup contender within the next 5 years if they do things right from this point now. If you just sit around, in the mushy middle, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to do anything. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to leave this video here. Just wanted to talk about all of this news. If you could make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.